So you mentioned that you're working with industry partners on identifying process improvements and perhaps bringing that into Shankara. Can you talk about what that process is like and what does that exercise look like at Shankara in terms of interacting with industry experts?
Sometimes it just happens serendipitously, in the sense that we have a patient who's sitting in the outpatient department who says that, hey, you know what, this process could be so much better. So then you ask them, saying that, great, so you tell us how can we improve. And he says, I'm a consultant at so and so company and this is what I do as a day job. We say, wonderful, why don't you come and spend some time with us and help us understand how we can streamline this better. So this has actually happened where people have worked with us in improving our entire registration process, saying that you need to break it up, or this is a bottleneck that we perceive is there. You need to multiply the number of touch points that are available, to saying that can you actually have just one resource here who's floating around and just talking to people, keeping them engaged. So that is to just give you a kind of a insight into one such activity that happened. The second area where we've engaged with industry is actually in terms of our COVID response. Uh, COVID response was something that there was no playbook available, so we didn't know what to do. So the easiest thing to do was to ask around. And actually, I reached out to all my fellow alumni out of INSEAD, where we got on to calls with them saying that, how are you guys figuring out what is happening, or what is it that you're doing? So we reached out to friends in manufacturing, we reached out to our friends who were in the hotel and service industry, we reached out to those who were in branding and communication, asking each one of them how they were responding. And very quickly we could find that there were certain elements that we could quickly incorporate. So when you look at the hotel industry, they started figuring out a way as to how can I continue my conversation with my clientele who are not able to come in. So they were sharing recipes, they were doing online sessions with their chefs. So we said that, okay, why can't we go online and start talking to our own colleagues, because our trainees were not able to train. So they were extremely concerned, saying that, is my training going to get affected? So every day at noon, we had a session where one of our experts from across Shankara got on to Zoom and did a live session about one topic. So all of a sudden, these students were engaged for that 1 hour. So they looked up to it because at least virtually they were able to see each other's faces. We kept that Zoom platform open 15 minutes before, 15 minutes after, so that they could just chatter, message each other, and keep that conversation going. When you look at manufacturing industry, we learned saying that they were protecting their employees. So they made sure that they were all vaccinated. They made sure that they all had appropriate uh, protective equipment. So we made sure that we were able to enable that. And even among some of us, we worked together to see that how can a manufacturer in Surat be enabled to reach Coimbatore, which is where an organization called Citra was, that was actually certifying this PPE. Because we realized that if we were able to increase the number of providers, the cost would come down. So we started leveraging goodwill that we have to open out checkposts, because people were not allowed to travel. So we had to make sure that this uh, textile piece, or that mask specimen, could actually come into Coimbatore. How could we fast track it there and get that report back? Two friends from the branding communication, where we asked them saying that, how do I communicate to my staff saying, don't worry, you're not going to take back this infection home. We have protected you enough. So this kind of has helped. This industry interaction is something that we've now realized is very, very key to us uh, going beyond what we do.
Yeah, at Shankara, I think the exposure and sort of multi-industry orientation has enabled us to scale significantly. So if you look at the concept of dashboards, it was 10, 12 years ago that by chance we had an opportunity to engage with a conversation with someone from an IT company, a big, large company, who showcased the information that he could, in sitting in one location, view. So that kind of triggered a concept in us. How can we, sitting in one location, get all data in and start monitoring and tracking progress? So that was a big influence for us to start things off and run. The other area, again, we've had been engaged with people from different companies as well. So they've come in, and a bigger challenge for us when we were replicating was, how do we take the protocols, how do we take the standard processes, the SOPs, how do we transmit to our teams across different locations. So they helped us build something like a Wikipedia. At that time, Wikipedia was not as popular as it is today, but this I'm talking of 10 years ago. So we created a database of sorts where a new employee, say for a registration desk employee, can just type in at the registration desk and understand, okay, starting from how to greet the patient to how to enter information into the MIS and to proceed further. So all those insights have come in from cross industry lessons and people from multiple other industries coming and adding value to our process improvements.